Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I know we all want to have the latest and hottest new baits that are on the market, but I'm here to tell you guys there's a lot of good old school baits that catch them every bit as good that are still available on the market. Some of them have gone through a lot of different phases, but even the newest versions still catch them pretty good. So I want to go over some of my favorite ones, just kind of walk you through where and why I like to throw them. And yeah, don't sleep on some of the old school stuff because it still catches them. Today's video is brought to you by the Deep Dive app, which will help you select the best fishing places in the lake with features like the lake level, the current flow, the top baits tool, which will help you select the best baits for certain locations throughout the lake. Whether that's a clear water, stained water, dirty water, it'll choose the best bait for that location, provide you with all the information like what structure, what retrieve, different reel, all of the information that you need to catch the fish. This is in the app. The cool part about this app, though, is it's not just based on areas. It does provide you with specific tournament winning data that has been collected to help you figure out your best choices for baits and locations for whatever region of the lake it is that you want to fish. On top of that, not only does the app provide you with best locations, it gives you water clarity as well. So maybe you're on a lake like Lake Eufaula, where there is a bunch of different water clarity located throughout the entire lake. This will help you identify the clearest portions as well as the dirtiest portions of the lake. Plus, the Deep Dive app has now added the wind effect map, which is going to take all of the different wind conditions for the past couple of days and show you what banks on the lake are being hit the hardest. They also have inflow points that show you different places throughout the lake where your water is being flushed into the lake through different ditches and creeks and rivers, providing you with high percentage places to fish and letting you know what parts of the lake are going to be the best areas after a rain. Check out the Deep Dive app to help you become a better angler. All right, so the first one that I want to talk about is a Bomber Model A, guys. The Bomber Model A, which is still available, is a fantastic crankbait that's been around for a long period of time. There are some older versions compared to the newer versions. Some people tell you the old one's kind of like Wiggleworts. I'm not going to talk about the Wigglewort because we all know about the Wigglewort, but there's a lot of people that think the old Bombers are better than the new Bombers. The reality is they all catch fish really well. For me, this is one of my best river crankbaits. I love throwing it down some riprap banks, some wing dams. Just cuts through the current really well, deflects great. I think it's kind of got a little bit of a pointed lip, which gives the bait a little different deflection than a lot of round ball lips or round bend lips. But this guy right here is a really good one. You can find them still all over the place. Whether you've got garage sales or tackle shops that carry used stuff, you can generally find them for a pretty reasonable price. One of my old school favorites that I still love to throw is this guy right here. This is a Storm Rattlin Chug Bug. They still make the Chug Bug to this day. I personally prefer the old ones. This is the big bug. This is the normal size. Just two of my absolute favorite, topwater baits. I personally feel like this is probably a top 5 topwater bait of all time. Just generates really good strikes, walks the dog phenomenally well. You can keep it right next to a piece of cover, just so you can get it just to rotate and sit there. But the sound of it calls them in, the little pop in action. I mean, heck, they even had a commercial specifically for this bait and a song that went with it. This thing is an old school gem that still catches them. The new ones are still really good too. I just happen to like the older Storm sound. It kind of goes similar with the Wiggleworts. I feel like they used maybe a slightly different plastic that just provided a little different sound, but Chug Bugs are phenomenal topwater baits. If you haven't thrown one and you want to go out and just get a new one even, I highly recommend it. And I'll put links for all these in the video description because like I said, they still sell versions of them today. Another old school one that's kind of a secret amongst the tournament guys is the Shad Rap. Now, the Shad Rap is one that I would say the new ones are every bit as good as the old ones. But a Shad Rap is one of those baits that's been around forever at this point. And it just does not go away. Like, guys just will fall back on this thing when fishing's really tough. It's a silent crankbait. It's balsa. It has a different movement to it, extremely tight wiggle, generates strikes, not just in cold water, but year round. It's a great bait, multi-species bait too. The walleye guys absolutely love them. The bass guys love them. You know, they have sizes from about yay big all the way up to like musky sizes. It's a great bait. The Shad Rap is probably an on the all-time best crankbait list if you were to ask me. So that's another really good one. And then the last one that I want to talk about here is the Mann's Baby -1. So this is one that I custom painted. This is another one that has gone through a lot of different versions over the years. Some guys will argue that the old school ones are the best ones. Personally, I think that there was kind of a middle range where I really liked them. But this is a topwater, basically a topwater wake bait. The thing doesn't dive more than a foot, just generates some vicious strikes. And if you're fishing, for me, I love to throw them like on these shallow bays that are like 2-3 foot. You know, up here in the North Country, when the ice comes out, you get a lot of fish that move back into these really shallow bays that are almost choked out during the summer. But in the spring, you know, you've got a little bit of grass growth and you need a bait that runs right over the top. This is the bait that works so well. The Mann's Baby -1, just a great old school bait that generates a ton of strikes. But these are 4 old school baits that I absolutely love. I use in my tournaments still to this day. I have boxes full of them, as you can see. I mean, this is wiggleworts and bombers. Just, you can't go wrong with a lot of these old proven baits. There's a reason they've got this, you know, aura around them. It's because they are proven fish catchers. And it's not an easy thing for a bait to hit that kind of that realm where people just recognize them as baits that will work. Yeah, that worked 50 years ago and that will work still in today's day and age with all the new high-tech crazy baits that we have. So let me know in the comment section, what are some of the other baits that are old school baits that are just proven fish catchers for you? I'd love to hear from you as well. Otherwise, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned. We'll have a new one coming out tomorrow for you.